The champion from Brazil was undefeated for a decade, then was destroyed in just 13 seconds. This was a historic moment for the UFC and their upcoming Irish star, who took the sport to a new level, but at the cost of the featherweight champion's head. From the fight's announcement until fight night, MMA didn't fail to amaze us. This fight will be talked about for decades, and if you like movie stories, trash talk, and vicious knockouts, stay until the end of the video to see how it all unfolded. From 2008 until 2015, Jose Aldo was the fear and terror of all fighters in his division. His wall of success includes 7 title defences, numerous bonuses, and the heads of many MMA greats who tried to get the title but failed. He was one of the most complete fighters in the world, and it seemed as if he would rule forever. However, this game is cruel and deceptive, and only one moment can derail all the years of success. You just have to find the right man to do it. And at that time, nobody was better than Conor McGregor. As unique as his opponent, Conor McGregor arrived at the UFC 2013 as a 2-division Cage Warriors champion. He went through the promotion like lightning, knocking out the oppositions with his killer left, 6 wins and 5 knockouts. This bonus machine mastered fighting skills, but there was another thing in which he excelled: trash talking. Even before the fight, he defeated his opponents on the microphone. Fighting was an easy part. All McGregor had to do was find their chin and finish the job. He talked like no one else, and best of all, he always backed it up, living to his nickname Notorious. It took other fighters years to get a title shot, but Conor did it in 2.5 years. He was known as a man who performed miracles, but the biggest miracle he performed was on December 12, 2015. Respectable Jose was not a fan of vile talk. Conor, on the other hand, fed off it. Every previous fight has shown that this makes him indestructible. He didn't have the support of the audience or the fighters, but he didn't need it either. He took it upon himself to destroy Aldo mentally and prepare him for a knockout. Poor Jose had to go through mental warfare twice. The first time this epic fight was scheduled, Aldo had to pull out due to a broken rib. As a replacement for the interim title, Chad Mendes came on short notice, but unfortunately for him, like all others, was finished. A new date was set for half a year later, but the old task remained the same: the destruction of the Brazilian. The psychological abuse on the part of the relentless Irishman continued. People couldn't wait for Aldo to shut him up, but they had no idea what kind of surprise was in preparation. But it was a question of how much Aldo's psyche could take. The fact that Conor drove Jose to the brink of insanity is even more impressive when you realise that Aldo doesn't speak English at all. McGregor demoted him whenever he spoke publicly. He stole his belt, followed him around, yelled in his face, and even learned a few words in Portuguese to make sure Jose understood him 100%. There was no place for Aldo to hide. A legendary build-up deserves nothing less than a legendary fight. Conor stepped into the cage as casually as if he was going to a grocery store. It was confusing who was actually the dominant champion there. Fans never saw Aldo so nervous and under pressure. To make matters even worse, Conor's coach told Jose before entering the cage, "Welcome to hell." Those who were on the side of the Brazilian and expected an epic scrap quickly fell into disbelief. McGregor once again showed off his sniper skills, and the first time Aldo moved forward, he was knocked unconscious. 13 seconds was all it took for an Irishman to take the throne of a long-time champion. Las Vegas exploded. The main event, which was waited for months, was over in no time, and those watching could not believe their eyes. The Irish crowd that travelled thousands of miles to see off their fighter turned the Sin City Arena into a fiery football stadium. Flags were flying and the cheers were loud. Never in the history of the UFC has this kind of support and love been recorded. You didn't have to be a McGregor fan that night to be crazy about this ending of the fight. People were mesmerised. The audience, commentary table, fighters, everybody. The only thing more impressive than the quick knockout is the locker room footage that leaked after the fight. As always, Conor predicted his opponent's move and the finishing method. Wow! Well, they don't call him Mystic Mac for nothing. UFC 194 was a night of thrill and agony. Jose did not let this defeat define him and continued his career after the unexpected fall. The end of 2015 meant a new beginning for Conor and the UFC. The Irish era had begun. which lasted for the next few years and continued to put the sport of MMA on the map. Notorious was right when he said, "We are not here to take part, we are here to take over."